Hi, if you're like most, you're probably wondering right now, what am I going to do with my business and what are some of the things that I can do right now to take my business actually to the next level? If that's something you're asking yourself, then this video is for you. Hi, I'm Thomas Heimann, and thank you so much for tuning into this Real Estate Success 2020 episode. Obviously, we're right now in the midst of the coronavirus challenge, and I personally think anytime you have a crisis, of course you have the danger component, but you also have tremendous opportunity. And I'm thinking that as far as our real estate industry is concerned, that these changes that we're experiencing right now actually are going to accelerate the natural process of development with respect to new business models and new ways of doing things that would have happened anyhow. Just like Instacart and Uber Eats were around and used by a very, very tiny percent of the population. Now everyone is using it because you pretty much have to. So the same thing is true for real estate. And I am challenging you to think of yourself as a future virtual real estate agent. You know, how to run your business in a virtual manner. And this is going to be a two-part series if you want to, or two-part training. Today I'm going to talk about the listing side. So how can you potentially effectively run and grow your listing side business on a virtual basis? And by virtual, I don't mean getting rid of the real estate agent, that you don't need the real estate agent, but I'm really thinking in terms of how can you deliver the service in a frictionless and safe manner, safe for everyone that's involved. You know, a lot of people thought, including myself honestly, that Opendoor and Zillow offers would really be the way to go for a lot of sellers that didn't want to put their property in the market and deal with agents and home buyers and so forth. But as you've heard over the last couple of days, both of them are really pulling out and are shutting down. Zillow is pulling their iBuyer program out of all the 24 markets that they're in. Opendoor is probably going to do the same if they haven't done it already. And there really is no need to go that route. There is a way to do this business yourself as a real estate agent in a way that will appeal to sellers that are concerned about safety and how they can sell their property. So I want to give you some thoughts with respect to how you can run your business in a virtual manner on the listing side. And obviously it's going to be tremendously technology focused. So if you are technology challenged, then just you got to get over that and realize that technology is going to be the equalizer, the lever that you need to really set yourself apart and deliver these kind of services to your sellers. The first thing you want to do, you absolutely have to do, is work only with sellers that are cooperative and that are willing to work with you according to your process and that are motivated to sell. You do not want to take a listing from someone that is just trying to see what they can get, and if they can sell it, great, and if they don't. You do not want to be desperate for that kind of listing. In a different market, you can make the argument, well, I'm still going to take the listing, I'll get the exposure from the sales side, I'm going to do all these open houses and so forth. But this is a different time, and I'm going to talk about that specifically on the buyer side in my next video. But on the listing side too, you really need to be extremely careful who you agree to work with, because you're putting not just your time at risk, but you're putting your health at risk, potentially your life, so you don't want to be playing games with people that are not motivated to sell, where you do not know that you will sell that property. You're going to help them sell the property, but the pricing has to be right, the presentation has to be right. If the place is messy, needs a lot of updates, then it has to be reflected in the pricing. And I would say at a minimum, if it would cost X dollars to paint it, you have to figure in 3 to 4 times that much as a discount on the price. You can't say, well, it takes $1,000 or $5,000 to do this, then the buyer is just going to go ahead and do it and pay $5,000 less. No. If it takes $5,000 to do it, the buyer may be willing to do it if they pay $20,000 less. So if your seller is not willing and able to make the investments to present their home in the best possible way, then that needs to be reflected in the pricing. Don't use comps for something that looks like a brand new model home that sold for X dollars, and here you have something that really is very challenged and they think it's going to bring the same amount of money. So having that put out of the way, the first thing is with respect to presentation, you have to use 3D tours. You have to utilize 3D tours and floor plans, and use, for instance, Matterport. There's some other providers as well, but Matterport is definitely the leader in this field. And you want to make it super easy for potential buyers to use this technology to do a virtual walkthrough of the property. And Matterport 3D tours, if you have a virtual reality headset, you can actually literally walk through the property. But even on a laptop or computer or tablet, it's just incredibly impressive how you can walk through the property, and it will actually eliminate 80% of showings, because anyone that would like to see the property and get a feel for it to basically disqualify that property from their short list, this tool will allow them to do that. And so it's not only going to get you more visibility and exposure, because certain sites are going to highlight those 3D tours versus just regular photography, but it's also going to allow a potential buyer and another agent to really get a very, very good idea of the property, and having a true floor plan in there as well will allow a potential buyer also to see whether or not their furniture is going to fit and so forth. So that will be the first thing. It's an absolute must. You got to make that investment. If you're not willing to do it, then I really think you're hurting yourself, and you may really want to ask yourself, do I want to really do this right now? The second thing you want to do is ditch open houses in exchange for virtual open houses. So a lot of agents are having incredible success doing virtual open houses. They live stream them on Facebook or YouTube. The advantage of live streaming on Facebook is that not only do all of your followers get notified that you went live, but you can also then save the video to your camera roll on your phone, on your iPhone or Android phone, and then you can upload it to YouTube and to other places and utilize it for a lot of other cross-marketing, TikTok, Instagram, etc., etc. So you want to, if you can, do a Facebook Live virtual walkthrough. Another benefit with Facebook is that when you do a live stream, you can actually flip forth and back between the front camera and the back camera. That's something you cannot do when you just record a video. You cannot switch between the front and back camera on your iPhone. With Facebook Live, you can do that. And if you want to really make it look professional, get a gimbal handle. You can order those online, which will basically stabilize your phone so it's not going to be jerking all over the place as you're walking through the home. And just do a very extensive walkthrough on your virtual open house that explains the property, the neighborhood, any background information that would be of interest, schools, etc., and then really drill down into all the different areas of the house. And then of course you have your 3D tour and floor plans, etc., to back it up. It's a great way to get exposure, and then as people like the video, engage them on Facebook or YouTube, start conversations with them, find out if they're interested in making a move, if they know anyone that's interested in making a move. And you never know, you might build a prospect base out of that. The next thing you want to do is consider doing virtual video tour showings. So the difference between that and a Facebook Live is that, the Facebook Live videos you do something you do at a given time. People can tune in or they can watch the replay. A virtual video tour showing is a personalized one-on-one showing, but you're using FaceTime or WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger to do a video call, and you can have multiple people on that video call. So if you have, for example, a couple that are looking to buy the home and they have their parents that want to be part of it as well, you can do a tour of the home while you have that live video call, You can share the home, you can drill in, you can answer questions, you can show things again that they want to see, you can flip between the front and back camera, you can go outside, you can show the area around the house and so forth. So it's a great way to do a virtual video tour that will also keep everyone safe, so they don't all have to come to the home and interface with each other. As you know, the recommendation right now is to keep at least 6 feet of distance, and you really want to limit your interaction with people as much as possible, not just for your own health, but also for their health. And so people will be very receptive to that. And again, using these type of video calls can really create an interactive type of presentation. You also want to use video calls to talk to your prospects, to discuss what their plans are, to get feedback on showings, etc. A great tool on the computer is Zoom, but again, you can also use FaceTime or WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger to do that. And just get in the habit of doing video calls, which will give you a much better way to connect with people than just a regular phone call or text messaging. And a great thing is if you use WhatsApp, for example, to communicate with people, or Facebook Messenger, or iMessage, if everyone has an iPhone, including the people on the other side, you can have a chat going on and say, hey, why don't we hop on a quick video call? And just literally in a second, you're online on the video call, and you can communicate with each other in a way that is just not possible on a regular phone call. And it really emulates what you would have happen if you all got together in the office. But obviously, even if there wasn't a coronavirus issue, it doesn't make sense for everyone to jump in the car and drive to the office. And even if you're at the office all the time, wasting an hour or two of your customers' time when you can hop on a video call. You want to consider learning and mastering online document signing. Many of you are already using tools like .loop or Transaction Desk, DocuSign, but there's still a lot of agents that are just not familiar with it, and the best thing to do is just to create some dummy transactions, some dummy documents. Pretend your significant other is a buyer and you're the seller, and just send the document forth and back, and get a feel for how easy it is really. And then you can of course also walk your buyer or seller through that process. When you do online document signings on offers, I would highly recommend that you have a phone conversation with them or a Zoom kind of meeting to go over the entire contract. Just sending someone a 15 or 20 page document that is the contract plus all these different disclosures and what have you not. For someone that is not a real estate professional, it can be really overwhelming, and you don't want to be in a situation where they just click next to initial and sign everything, but they really don't understand what they're signing. They're not taking the time. Yes, they trust you, but you still want to make sure that they really understand all the different provisions of the contract that will avoid issues later on. Now, on the listing side, once you have your transaction under contract, you now are looking obviously at issues with vendors. There are going to be appraisers that might need access to the property, home inspectors, maybe some minor repairs need to be made. And one thing that you might want to consider is using a smart lockbox or a smart key. There are smart keys that can be put into the front door. Obviously, they have keys right now that are totally hidden inside of the door, so there's no clunky keypad on the outside. And this could be a value enhancer to pass on to the new owners, but it allows you to provide access control to the property, and that prevents you needing to be there yourself to let people in, and you also cut down on the interaction of your sellers having to be there or the other agent having to be there. So the whole name of the game is, how can we make this super easy, super safe, super frictionless to all the people that are involved? You want to work with vendors that are technology friendly and technology savvy. Inspectors that will do a video walkthrough, whether they do a live, FaceTime type of call, or they just record a detailed video. a video walk over the roof, a home inspector doing a video walkthrough just to recap the big items that they found, giving a couple of tips. Those kind of things will really mean a lot to the other parties in the transaction. So you want to talk to vendors that are technology friendly, that are willing to do that. In this day and age right now especially, I think anyone is going to be very happy to get an opportunity to do some business, and if you can provide it to them in a safe fashion where they don't have to interact with anyone personally while they're doing these things, if they're willing to utilize technology, this could be a win-win for everyone involved. And then finally, take a look at utilizing remote online notary, also known as RON, R-O-N, and e-closings wherever possible. Right now, actually, I am rattling a lot of cages to ensure that we can get to online closings, e-closings for mortgage transactions in Florida. Effective January 1st of 2020, e-closings are legal in the state of Florida. The big challenge is when it comes to, number one, title insurance companies that have certain underwriting criteria, so they can be challenging. And then you have the mortgage lenders that have their own criteria. So while in theory e-closings are possible and super easy, you want to find vendors that are willing to do that. And there's no reason actually right now why you couldn't do e-closings for cash transactions, meaning people can do it from their home, from wherever they are, out of state or even out of the country, and have the documents notarized, and then they're electronically recorded. And ideally, you would want to be able to do that with lenders as well. So I'm looking into this, and I'm going to post updates as I get more information on my blog at thomasheimann.com. And I'm going to post the link here in the comments underneath the video. So you might want to check that out and follow it. And also make sure you subscribe to the channel, or like the Facebook page that you're seeing this on, wherever you happen to see this video, as I will post updates in the coming days on this subject, very specifically, how can we close transactions electronically. If we use this technology that is available to us right now, and unfortunately it's not yet integrated, so we have to use different tools and pieces, but if we use it effectively, there really is no reason why we cannot sell real estate and drive transactions in a very safe manner without there being any need for face-to-face interactions with people. And so even if this is going to be a prolonged challenge or crisis with the coronavirus, if we are creative and smart, there are opportunities for us to buy and sell real estate. There are still people looking to invest in real estate because it's a great safe haven, as opposed to cash or the stock market, obviously, which is incredibly volatile at the moment. And there are also people still looking to retire and move. They realize that this is a temporary situation. This is not going to be permanent. But the great thing about this is that it forces us to focus and rethink about how do we do our business. And if you're stuck in the situation that I need to do things the way I've always done them, I don't want to change, then you may find yourself in a situation where you're kind of stuck until things move on. If you look at this as an opportunity, how can I run my business differently, and how can I set myself apart and then be a leader in this business by providing virtual listing services, virtual buyer services. I'm the guy that allows my clients to close online, etc., etc. Then this is going to pay huge dividends in the months and years to come. Hope you got something of value from this video. And again, if you like it, please subscribe. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel and click on the little alarm bell so you get notified when new videos are coming out. And in the next couple of days, I'm going to do a video on the buy side, how to run your business, your buyer side business, in a virtual manner in this day and age. Thank you so much again. I'm Thomas Heimann. Until next time.